Welcome to the next episode of BlackMenCarpool, episode number 66. I am your host, Black Wax, and I got my driver in the cabin today. Brother Zay, what do you say?
What it do?
All good, bro. It has been a very electrifying 12 days in the United States of America.
Oh, man, you had never lied about that.
Ooh, this is the best reality TV I've seen in years.
And it's reality.
Man.
It is reality. It is really happening.
Bar Girls Club meets Real World meets Big Brother meets what's that show when you go off to the middle of the woods?
Survivor. This is nuts.
This is nuts. So there's so much going on in our country right now. And a little later on the show, we're going to talk about the travel ban that has been issued, the executive order that has been issued by our newly minted Donald J. Trump as president, 45th president of the United States of America. But right now, let's talk about New Edition.
All right.
So, I didn't really know like this 3-part series was coming out. So my wife's like, "Oh, we gotta watch this New Edition special on BET." I'm like, "Okay, that's cool. We can watch that." So we started watching the first 2 episodes on Thursday night, and I was like, "Let's finish the third one." She's like, "No, I'm gonna go to bed." I looked up at the clock. It was 1:45 in the morning.
Oh.
I was like,
man, you was tuned in, huh?
Man, I could have watched all 3, but it was probably a good idea that we did go to bed.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you guys checked it out as well, right?
Yeah, my wife did like a little marathon. Like, I'm not gonna lie, we was in bed watching it, and I fell asleep through probably, I don't know, not the majority of it. However, I fell asleep through some of the parts, but what I did see was really, really good. I did not know that Johnny Gill, and this is just me just being out of tune, I suppose, but I didn't know he was part of New Edition. That was just crazy to me. I don't like how little I knew about them, even though I listened to their music.
Well, Johnny Gill was the replacement for
Bobby
Brown.
Yeah. But then when Bobby came back, he was still in the group.
Yeah, but if you know anything about Bobby Brown, he ain't gonna stay in the group too long.
No. So yeah, but the point I'm trying to make is he was just a great addition to the group.
He was,
and he was in my opinion, one of the better solo artists on there, because he was a good solo artist before he got on there, and he just enhanced everything, in my opinion.
Johnny Gill is gonna go down in R&B history as one of the greatest R&B singers. He got some chops.
Yeah, I agree, and I hope Ralph Tresvant goes down too, because I think he has a great voice too.
Yeah, Ralph, he had a very, very strong voice, and they put a lot of pressure, a lot of weight on him to carry the group. Which there were other members in the group that were talented, but they really weighed heavily on Ralph.
Yeah, and I think that took a lot of the pressure off of Ralph, in my opinion, because you had Johnny, who was singing kind of, he had that really strong voice now, so where when you have everything on Ralph, now Johnny's just in addition to this, and he's helped pulling the train.
No doubt. So, they started at a very young age, and it was so unfortunate because all of their mothers were single.
Yeah.
And none of them had any business acumen. Obviously, they wanted the very best for their children.
Yeah.
But they just got took to the cleaners, man.
Yeah.
I mean, the first manager, the local guy, and then the second manager, Gary, who made all these promises, they just basically took them and just, took all their publishing, all their royalties, and gave them $1.87 to split at the end of the year.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that they had to go through that, but they're stronger for it today. But
yeah, definitely.
Still, it's the miseducation of jumping into a business that you don't know anything about.
Yeah, if somebody would have read the contract, they would have been a little bit better off.
Yeah, but even as young men, I mean, that's the problem, the women didn't think, the moms didn't think about reading the contract, and that's usually, that's kind of one of those, in my opinion, kind of one of those no-brainer ordeals.
That's your job as a parent.
Yeah, that's your job as a parent to see what I'm signing over, because they basically signed over rights to him, right? Or not? I mean, whatever they were signing.
All their money, all their publishing.
Yeah, exactly. So, you would think that they would read through that thing with the fine-tooth comb. However, they didn't, and a lot of the devils is in the details. And what they'll do is, it's actually I studied this in school. There's a science behind making these contracts so long,
right?
And the average person who's not the reader, who's not used to really deep diving into long, mundane material like that, it's used to discourage you to read through the whole contract. So at that point, you just sign everything because you're tired of reading.
Exactly.
And it's designed like that for a reason, because the devil is really in the details. When you start asking questions on how this works and everything else, that's when that's when things probably get hairy, because they're going to start defending why they're doing what they're doing. But at least you nip it in the bud. Anyhow.
No doubt. So I thought the acting in that 3-part series was really good.
Yeah.
Those guys, they really embodied the characters of Ricky, Michael, or Ricky Bell, Michael Bivins, Ronnie DeVoe, Bobby Brown, Ras Tresvant, and Johnny Gill. They really captured those characters in their true essence.
Yeah, it was a good one. I really liked it.
And I can't remember this guy. I don't know his real name, but he plays Hakeem in Empire. Yeah, he played his butt off.
Yeah. I think they all did well.
They did well.
Yeah.
They did well, but he wanted to make you forget about Hakeem, and I think he did that.
Yeah, and that was nice to see him break out of that Hakeem role. And,
right.
It's just always nice when you could diversify it and just not be known for one character or one type of role. It's always nice where you can diversify. However, I was told that's really hard in Hollywood to, once you have a niche, to move to another niche.
Yeah. So let me ask you a very difficult question.
Yeah.
What's your favorite New Edition song?
Sunny Days? Is that the name of the title?
Can You Stand the Rain?
Can You Stand the Rain? Yeah. Yep.
That's a good one. I don't know. I'm gonna go with my very first, because I have the album at home. I got the LP. Of course, I don't have a record player right now, but I'm gonna go with "Cool It Now." That was my jam back in the day.
Mr. Telephone Man's a good one.
That was a classic.
Yeah, that's a good one too. So those are my top two.
Yeah. Yep. Mr. Telephone Man, I think that's what my wife said. But she knew of some other songs. I think she probably bought all their albums. I didn't buy all the latest albums. I only bought that one record.
And they were, when I was born, they were already out and popping. And so only thing I knew of was what they played on the radio and the singles. I never really sat down and listened to all their albums and things like that. So that's why.
And I'm going to go back and do that too.
Man, they got a lot of, they all came out with singles, I think, at one point in time.
Yeah.
Or most of them did, I believe.
Yeah, BBD came out.
Yeah.
With Poison. That was a jam.
Now, I knew BBD.
Right.
That was like my era. I wouldn't see BBD in concert. However, I didn't know they were part of New Edition. I just thought, BBD just came up on the scene. And, it's just interesting how Boyz II Men, ABC, and BBD, they all branched from, keep me honest here, Michael Bivins.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah, And so I didn't know all that until I actually watched the movie.
Yeah. So he learned the business and he signed his guys and, kept staying in the music business. So Bobby Brown, he was a troubled young man.
Yeah.
Once they kicked him out of the group, he was in and out of trouble.
Yeah.
And then MCA gave him a recording contract, solo deal, and he went and blew that thing up.
Yeah. Bobby Brown, he's just an entertainer.
Yeah, he is.
And he knows how to work the crowd, and it's just one of those things where you got a taste of that life, and he just wanted to hog it all up, and I think they sound amazing when they're all together, but then Bobby just wants to do his own thing, and he gets really selfish, and then, the rest is history, and hopefully he has his mindset now different, because I think they were going on tour.
Yeah. And I think Johnny Gill, I think he's a great solo artist, and he's also great in a group.
Yeah.
Because he joined LSG.
Yeah. So
Levert, Sweat, Gill.
So I don't know who LSG is, to be honest with you.
They got a song called My Body. My body all over your body. It's your body, babe.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's grown folks. That's grown folk music right there.
Grown folk, yeah. I'm still a pup, I suppose. So like I said, I don't know who LSG was. I guess that's during the time of Prince and everybody.
No, that's Levert, Gerald Levert, Keith Sweat, and Johnny Gill. They came out around. I remember listening to them a lot when I was in college, around 94, 95.
You said it was Keith Sweat and Johnny Gill?
Keith Sweat, LAG. Gerald Levert was L is for Levert. S for Sweat. Keith Sweat. And then G for Gill, Johnny Gill.
That is so funny because my father took me back in the day to go see BBD, and it was BBD. They were all on tour. It was BBD, Johnny Gill, and Keith Sweat. And I remember Keith Sweat not showing up, but Johnny Gill performing. And I had no idea that Johnny Gill was in a group with Keith Sweat.
They were a super R&B group.
That's crazy. See that's just. I guess that's the time I was growing up, so I didn't really know too much about what was happening. I was too much into Bone Thugs and Harmony, I suppose.
Yeah. That My Body was certified platinum as a single. Yeah,
they should make a story about that.
They should, but that was one of my favorite groups. That whole album was just incredible.
Wow.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I had the cassette. I'm telling my age now. But yeah, good old LSG. All right, so let's move on to our next topic.
All right.
Super Bowl 51.
Super Bowl 51.
It's going to be coming up this weekend.
Yeah.
So what kind of predictions you got?
Man, I don't know. The last time Atlanta went to the Super Bowl, they lost to the Denver Broncos. So it's one of those things to where I don't know if Matt Ryan has arrived yet. This is his moment to shine, and I'm not sure he'll make it back to the Super Bowl after this. But if he shows up, and if he doesn't crumble on a stage like this, I think Atlanta has a good shot. However, you're going against Tom Brady, someone who's been in this position for a number of different times and has been really, really jonesing to get back to the Super Bowl. And I don't know. Who I want to win is Atlanta.
Okay.
However, who do I think is going to win? I don't know, really. I can't really put my finger on it because I didn't think Atlanta was going to beat Green Bay.
Yeah, I didn't see that coming.
Yeah, I did not see that coming, especially after what Green Bay did to Dallas.
Oh my gosh.
That was ridiculous.
Oh my
God. So, it's that's the reason why the sport is so fun, is because you never really can put your finger on it.
It's a little unpredictable.
Yeah, it's extremely unpredictable, especially when you go into when you're looking at mid-season and you're seeing all the hot teams. Like, you'd figure Seattle would be up there somewhere, and
Oakland.
Oakland, their quarterback got injured.
Okay.
So, you know what I'm saying? But, the normals, like Green Bay and Seattle, and like, it's just always nice to see a different team get up there.
Right.
Hopefully, Falcons will pull it out.
Yeah, well, I'm rolling with the Pats.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Why?
I noticed something, like when the Patriots, when they beat the Steelers, they won the NFC East champ. Is it NFC or AFC?
AFC.
The AFC championship in their division. They just act like it was just another game. Like, they didn't really want that trophy.
Yeah.
It's just nothing.
And they're very structured like that. And Bill Belichick, he never smiles. And he's just kind of a weirdo in general, to be honest.
Yeah, it's kind of stoic.
Yeah. And I don't know. I don't know. I seen an interview with him. I'm not really a big fan of his. However, That's how they get down.
Yep.
You know, they're all about business.
Yep.
And that's what's great about Tom Brady is
Yep.
that on the field, he's just a monster.
He's fun to watch, man.
Yeah, he's hollering at refs. He's hollering at his teammates. He's hollering at his coaches.
Yeah.
He's pissed at himself. And then, you know, he goes into these interviews, and then it's a totally different person.
Oh, yeah.
Totally different
Turn it
person.
on, turn it off.
Turn it on, turn it off.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's always. I mean, even at his, I say his age. He's not old.
He's like 40 or 39.
I'm saying like as a man, he's not old, but for football age, he's really old.
Oh,
And he's
yeah,
still
he's
out there getting out of the pocket, running when he has to.
Yeah.
Like that's great, man.
Yep.
I really been. I like the guy. However, he's already got 3 Super Bowls, 2 Super Bowls,
I think he got
something
4.
like that. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Let somebody else win. However, it's kind of hard to hate on a dynasty.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm never ever one to hate on a dynasty, but I really do root for the underdog.
So I'm probably root for the Pats for a lot of the wrong reasons too.
Mm-hmm.
Before I go into that reason, is Gronkowski still? Mike Gronk, is he still hurt?
Yeah, I
He's
don't
not
know.
gonna be playing?
I don't know if he's hurt or not. I think he is. I think he is still injured. I don't know.
Yeah.
I have to check the injury report. I've been kind of adamant.
So another reason why I like Robert Kraft, right? The owner.
Okay.
I saw this complex video of Robert Kraft and who's the receiver? The
Which one?
probably the most famous
Edelman?
one. No.
Julian Edelman?
Rob
Gronkowski?
Julio Jones is for the Giants, right?
No, Julio Jones plays for the Falcons.
Okay. But did he used to play for the Patriots?
Mm-mm.
Okay. I can't remember who he's with. But anyway, they were interviewing Robert Kraft on sneakers.
Okay.
He's a big Air Force One guy.
Mm-hmm.
He went to the White House with Air Force Ones on.
A white dude with Air Force Ones?
He wears them all the time, and he they got special custom Air Force Ones made especially for the Patriots.
Uh-huh.
And he was in there talking about his Air Force Ones and how much he likes them, and he was buying a pair. And with a couple of brothers, I'm like, that's cool. That's pretty fresh.
Hmm.
So he kind of won me over with his love of Air Force Ones.
I know.
Yeah.
Did he vote for Donald Trump?
That I do not know.
Would you still be his fan?
Maybe not.
I'm just playing.
Maybe not.
Yeah. Anyhow, but I just think that it's always nice to a team that hasn't been there for a very long time to get one. I don't think Atlanta's ever won a Super Bowl, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I don't think so either. All right, so let's talk about the elephant in the room. Hashtag Trump travel ban. Hashtag travel ban. So, January 28th, thousands of people gathered in various airports across the U.S. in response to Executive Order 13769. According to various sources, 2,000 people were outside the JFK airport. There were people protesting in Dallas, Chicago O'Hare, LAX, San Francisco, SeaTac Airport in Seattle, of which the governor of Washington came out and blasted Donald Trump. He had some very harsh words. Boston, Denver, Albuquerque, Hartford, Newark, Albany, Atlanta, Houston, Las Vegas, Greenville, and Philadelphia. They were all protesting the Executive Order 13796, which created a suspension of admissions of all refugees entering the United States for 120 days and an indefinite block for Syrian refugees. The order also blocks citizens from Iraq, Iran, Libya, Sudan, Syria, and Yemen from entering the U.S. for 90 days. Green card holders from these countries were also affected. So, as you know, at JFK, one of the detainees was Hamid Jalid Darwish, who was an Iraqi interpreter for the United States Army. He was held for 12 hours without being able to see his lawyer. And there have been several children and elderly people who have also been detained. And Donald Trump, President Trump, went on CBN, Christian Broadcast Network, and said Christian refugees will be given priority in terms of refugee status in the United States. So as much as Sean Spicer, the press secretary and the Obama administration wants to say this is not a Muslim travel ban, it looks very much like a Muslim travel ban. Hashtag Muslim travel ban.
Yeah, I totally agree. For one, that person who was detained, if he's currently in the army, why?
No, he's an interpreter for the U.S. Army.
And
he's Iraqi.
Yeah, so if he's an interpreter for the U.S. Army, he's working with the U.S. Army. Why are we detaining him?
Exactly.
He's for us.
Exactly. So this executive order was executed without any plan or much protocol. You had airports and local authorities trying to just figure it out ad hocly.
Yeah, and I get the idea around it, how he's trying to figure out who is. Yeah. So real talk.
Okay.
The most of the individuals that have caused terrorist acts are quote unquote Muslim, but it's not the same. But it's not the real Islamic religion that's most portrayed. In my opinion, I guess, and I don't know a lot about the Muslim religion. However, I know that most people who I've been around say that the Muslim religion is not a violent religion. However, you do have these radicalists who claim Muslim, and they do these extreme acts. So therefore, you have the good Muslims with the bad Muslims, and he's trying to figure out who the good ones and the bad ones are. Unfortunately, we have Americans mixed up in there too. So Americans who claim this Muslim religion could easily say that they're Christian Muslims and get back into the United States, or even the Christian Muslims are. I'm sorry.
You can't. Yeah, you said that twice now.
Yeah. I'm getting myself here. So even.
But you raise a good point though.
So the Christians that are from these sanctioned countries could also be terrorists.
Mm-hmm.
And so to give them privileges, for one, I mean, it's just kind of shooting yourself in the foot. But at the same time, this whole thing is not well thought out. And he's saying these things without really knowing how the logistics work. It's easy to say that you're going to get all the bad people out of America. Well, how the heck are you going to do that? That's a very bold and a broad statement.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand where his heart is, and I see where he's trying to come from. However, this is not the way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
This is not the way to do it. And especially if you have someone who has just got a green card or whatever, and that's come over here to start a new life because these countries are dirt poor and they want something better for themselves.
Right.
And we're always told that we're we're the land of opportunity.
Right.
And people come here because there's opportunity to make money, and that's the whole reason why we do things like this. And so that's going really against all our values that we're talking about. But in my opinion, he's trying to do too much, and he really did take on a task that he did not know how it was going to work out. And now you have these travel bans, and really just, in my opinion, it's kind of wasted energy on something that's bound to fail. So anyhow,
yeah, it's the public outcry, not just in the U.S. but over the world. It's pretty thick right now. It's pretty thick right now. I need about 5 to 7 more minutes to give you my response.
Yeah.
So I took to Facebook.
Don't say Christian Muslim either.
Okay, I'm gonna remember that. I'm gonna remember that. Now, if I get detained at DFW airport, it might come out.
I'm a Christian Muslim. Let me in. Stop playing.
Okay, so I took to Facebook. I saw this post about Steve Jobs, right?
Uh-huh.
And it just really It lit a fire within me. The light bulb went off, and I was able to write a little bit. So this is what I wrote. The quote is, Steve Jobs was the son of a migrant worker from Syria. I didn't know that till yesterday.
Okay.
So this is my response. Some say Steve Jobs' father was an immigrant. Some say he was a refugee. What difference does it make?
Yeah.
America and the world over was blessed to have Steve Jobs as a law-abiding and job-creating citizen.
Mm-hmm.
We are a great nation of people from all over the world. I agree, Mr. Trump, America first, but we can't be America only. We have to be good citizens and good Samaritans across the world. I understand proper vetting, but I don't understand random coin flipping that looks like witch hunting, McCarthyism, fascism, and random coin flipping. So that was my 2 cents on that. And I got some response. President of my pipe club, he said, I would suggest that regardless of how you feel about Trump or the election, that you remember he is not the first president to do what he did. As easy it is to get angry with one person, myself included, it does us all a service to look at a bigger picture, the history and results of history being just going off, before just going off. And maybe taking with a grain of salt what the media pumps out about it. I've had to remind myself of the same pitfalls on occasion. The hatred, justified or not, really resolves nothing. Peace, my friend of the pipe.
So what other president did this in that case?
Well, obviously,
attempted this?
Obama started a vetting process. It wasn't like this, but he did start a vetting process. And so I got another response from Monica Thornton. She's a Brit. I've been knowing her for about 15 years or so, and she has a very thick English accent. And I love her accent. I totally understand what you are saying, but I follow what is going on in Europe, and that's where I'm from. There's a big problem with some, not all, refugees. In areas where there are more migrant settlers, the rate of sexual assault is higher. They're entitled to many benefits denied citizens of the host country. It is a very real problem, and it has to be addressed. I am in agreement with extra vetting, but I disagree with green card holders not being able to get back in. But if they had been rampant terrorism in England, where I came over here, I would understand if they had to do extra vetting. It's common sense. And there have been many cases of refugees coming to America and getting training to go back and join ISIS. Obviously, not all refugees, I'm not saying that, but because it does happen, and because of the problems caused in Europe, Trump is trying to prevent that happening here. And yes, you can argue that more white nationalists have done terrorist attacks than Muslims, but does that mean it's okay to take the risk of increased attacks? It's a complex issue and has not been handled well, but to deny reality is not handled it well either. So I thought that was a pretty good response from my friend Monica Thornton. Then I responded to my president, Colin. I said the refugees are coming in legally with visas. I agree that they are not the issue. Unfortunately, the legals are being treated illegally. Trial and error, #trial and error travel ban. Mexicans subverting the border is a different issue in my opinion. Mexico and the U.S. have been allies for as long as I've been alive, but to demand that they pay for wall is not diplomatic. Of course, there's another post that I didn't read where he talked about Mexico, so I kind of responded to two different things. But yeah, so I was happy to get my thoughts out and to let people know how I feel, where I stand, and wanted to address this on BlackMenCarpool. And also my friend who is a Republican from Odessa, Holly, she basically commented on Instagram and said, I'm embarrassed. So there you have it.
Yeah, and again, it's not that we're against vetting. It's just the process that he's doing it is ridiculous. The travel ban is going overboard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, imagine being in an airplane in midair. You find out you're going to be deported as soon as you land.
Yeah.
That's pretty...
I mean, going down there and then asking me extra questions, really, if I don't have any hidden agendas,
right.
I should be okay.
Right.
But yeah, the whole... I just got my green card, and then now you're over here sending me back.
Yeah.
Like, it's horrible.
Yeah, it is terrible. So, I don't have any shout-outs or closing remarks. How about you?
Yeah. Shout out to Beyonce for she's having twins.
Bebe and JJ?
Is that what their names are going to be? Bebe and JJ?
I don't know. I just made them up.
Oh, man. I was say, God dang. Never mind. I take it back.
Congratulations. She broke the internet again.
Again.
Yeah, congratulations to the nose Carter. So you can find us at the regular spots: iTunes, Mixcloud, Stitcher Radio, Google Play, and YouTube. That's right, we are on YouTube. And you can also check out the newsletter. I will put it in the Facebook group. You can also follow our group on Facebook, #BlackMenCarpool. This has been another episode number 66 to be exact. And on that note, we're out.
Peace.